You've stabilized your transmission like I showed in the previous video on detecting that micro push. And now the feedback just vanished? Signs gone? Emotions neutralized? Total silence. What if I told you I'm about to reveal exactly how to detect this final silence that confirms your quantum collapse, and what to do so you don't sabotage it in the last seconds? But first, I need to explain why this happens. Stay with me until the end. You know that phase where everything seemed aligned, synchronicities everywhere, repeating numbers, random confirmations, and then nothing? No messages, no coincidences, no inner fireworks, just a flat emotional line, like someone muted your entire connection to the universe. This video is about that exact moment. The point where most people give up, change methods, or assume it stopped working. When in reality, this is the final stretch where quantum manifestation is doing its quietest and most powerful work beneath the surface. In quantum systems, constant feedback fuels unstable probabilities. Synchronicities, emotional nudges, little confirmations keep the wave alive. But once coherence hits critical mass, that feedback cuts off. The system doesn't need to perform anymore. It consolidates silently. This is precisely what I cover in Right Before Your Reality Shifts, Your Brain Goes Silent. That brain silence is your biggest signal the shift is locking in. Imagine boiling water. At first you see movement everywhere, tiny bubbles, steam rising, noise. Then it hits a stable rolling boil and you don't need to keep poking it to know it's hot. Quantum manifestation has a similar curve. Early on, you get a lot of responsive feedback because your field is still forming and needs those little nudges to stay in motion. But after a certain threshold, the wave function of your desired reality becomes stable enough that extra feedback would only add noise, so the system naturally moves into silence and consolidation. Your nervous system, wired for endless input, reads this quiet as rejection or stall. No movement feels like backsliding. But quantumly, this is when you stop interfering. Most manifestation advice pushes harder visualization, louder affirmations, more emotional charge. Great for early stages, but fatal here. Urgency-driven action fractures the coherence just as it's solidifying. Think of it like planting a seed. In the beginning, you water it, check the soil, adjust the light. But if you dig it up every day to see if roots are forming, you kill the very process you triggered. The quiet phase of manifestation is the root-growing phase. You don't see the progress, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. In fact, this is where the most important restructuring occurs, both in your field and in your identity. As detailed in Right Before Your Reality Shifts, Your Brain Goes Silent. Your brain drops from reactive beta waves into integrative theta during this phase. That's when those three physical signs hit. Thoughts fading, body relaxing, time warping. Your brain's a prediction engine. Silence creates data voids it can't fill. Your mind is addicted to prediction and pattern confirmation. When it doesn't receive constant evidence that things are working, it triggers subtle alarm bells. Maybe I did it wrong. Maybe I should switch techniques. Maybe I lost the alignment I had. Quantum observer effect. Constant checking keeps probabilities spinning. When the field goes quiet, it's not withdrawing, it's executing. Neuroscience backs this. Dopamine dips, no quick rewards. Amygdala flags threat, but it's just your system upgrading. Stable creators report massive shifts arrived when they stopped forcing feedback. This is where a lot of people unconsciously sabotage themselves. The absence of emotional highs feels like emptiness, so they chase something to feel on track again. A new method, a new coach, a new ritual. But every time you reset the process, you pull the seed out of the soil again. The silence that makes your brain panic is the same silence that signals your field is finally free from your constant interference. Right before your reality shifts, your brain goes silent. Not because manifestations stopped, but because your system is switching from seeking mode to receiving mode. You're not supposed to feel the same intensity you did in the beginning. You're supposed to feel oddly neutral, almost disinterested, as if the desire isn't burning anymore. That's not a loss of power, that's integration. This phase dismantles your cause-effect conditioning. You've been taught effort, just results, repetition, reinforcement. So when desire neutralizes and signs vanish, panic sets in. But quantumly, this is probability becoming inevitability. Observation helped build coherence. Now it distorts. From childhood, you are trained to believe that if you're not actively trying, you're losing ground. Work harder, push more, stay focused, never let up. So when manifestation moves into a phase where you're not supposed to push, your conditioning screams that you're being irresponsible or lazy. You associate neutrality with giving up. The practical exercise from right before your reality shifts, your brain goes silent. Nails this, that 4-6 breathing plus. I let it collapse. Drill signals your field you're recognizing the moment without disruption. Your body misreads under stimulation as danger, but alpha-theta rhythms are dominating. Learning locks in, identity updates. Wanting fades not because intention died, but because it's embedding. Neutrality is the feeling of a reality that is already yours trying to settle into your nervous system. You're not obsessing over it because, at some deep level, your system has accepted it as normal. The desire stops feeling like a peak fantasy and starts feeling like a quiet inevitability. That can be disorienting if you're used to craving, chasing, and longing. Right before your reality shifts, your brain goes silent because it no longer needs to constantly simulate the future. It's preparing to experience it. Think of how you feel about things that are already certain. You don't obsess, you don't overthink, you just know. That's the energetic tone of this phase, not hype, not desperation, just quiet knowing. The mind gets polite here, whispers, just check once more, tweak the intention, stay aligned. Feels responsible, but its noise re-injected into a clean system. Old patterns resurface as coherence tests, not to punish, but to confirm your non-reaction. This is where spiritual perfectionism shows up. You tell yourself you're just being committed or high standard, when in reality you're doubting the process that is already underway. You might feel the urge to journal more, visualize longer, or look for more signs, not from genuine inspiration, but from fear that if you stop, everything will collapse. Biology calls this efficiency. Physics calls it coherence. Manifestation calls it the point of no return. External life simplifies because your signal's pristine. No emotional spikes needed. Results integrate without fanfare. In practice, this means fewer dramatic emotional waves, less obsession with outcomes, more focus on ordinary tasks, daily life, and grounded presence. That doesn't mean you're off the path. It means the path has moved from your conscious mind into your deeper structures. Your job here is not to rev up more energy, but to refrain from scrambling the signal that's finally clear. Right before your reality shifts, your brain goes silent, and your ego gets loud, not in obvious panic, but in subtle, rational-sounding suggestions that seem helpful. Your mastery is measured by how little you feel the need to interfere with what's already in motion. Final delivery. Inevitability forms. 1924. Decrut. Outcomes from this phase feel casual, unforced, slipping in while you're not monitoring. Your nervous system doesn't brace. It recognizes compatibility. If you want to anchor this state daily, watch right before your reality shifts, your brain goes silent right now. The perfect hands-on companion for anyone in this silent consolidation. When the shift lands, it often doesn't feel like fireworks. It feels like, of course this happened. People will tell you you're lucky, or that it came out of nowhere, but you'll know this was the quiet result of coherence you stopped interrupting. You'll notice that what used to trigger you now passes through without friction because your identity has already adjusted to the new reality. This isn't chasing breakthroughs, it's sustaining coherence. Reality mirrors your internal order, not your emotional volume. The more you normalize calm, grounded certainty, the faster your external world organizes itself to match that internal blueprint. You don't have to convince the universe. You have to stop arguing with the version of you that already has what you asked for. Right before your reality shifts, your brain goes silent. And that silence is not a void. It's a completion. It's the moment where forcing, pushing, and proving are replaced by allowing, receiving, and recognizing. Your work is to resist the temptation to restart the process out of fear that nothing is happening. In truth, the most important things are happening right then. If you're in this quiet phase right now, drop "I'm not interrupting" in the comments. It marks your commitment to letting coherence complete. Like if this clicked, subscribe for more quantum mechanics decoded. And stick around for the next video where I reveal how to spot the integration glitches that happen right after your reality fully shifts. Quantum Rebirth Guide in pinned comment. Reality is already shifting, just stop standing in its way.